In this video, we're exposing the 4 absolute worst dozers that industry professionals, mechanics, and frustrated owners warn against buying. This isn't just about minor quirks. We're talking about fundamental flaws in design, engineering, and reliability that can bring a business to its knees. And you'll definitely want to stick around for our #1 pick. It was a machine sold with a promise so tempting it lured in buyers across the country, only to become one of the most infamous cautionary tales in heavy equipment history. This isn't just a list, it's a guide to protect your investment. Let's get started. Number 4. Case 2050M. Coming in at number 4 is the Case 2050M. When it was launched, it made a splash. With a hefty 214 horsepower and advanced features, it was positioned to take on the big players from Cat and Komatsu. On paper, it promised serious pushing power and a modern operator experience. But as many owners discovered, that power isn't everything if the machine can't put it to the ground effectively and reliably. Common issues. The power-to-weight imbalance. This is the 2050M's original sin. The engineers gave it a powerful engine, but they didn't give it the mass to back it up. The machine's operating weight is simply too light for its 214 horsepower. The result? Under a heavy load, instead of gripping and pushing, the tracks are prone to spinning uselessly. This not only kills productivity and fuel efficiency, but also causes accelerated and very expensive wear on the sprockets, rollers, and chains. The engine grounding fault. Early production models were a ticking time bomb due to a critical engine grounding issue. This wasn't just a nuisance, it was a design flaw that could send voltage spikes through the sensitive electronic control systems. This could lead to sudden, inexplicable engine shutdowns in the middle of a push, or in the worst-case scenarios, complete engine failure, leaving the machine dead on site. The mechanic's nightmare, cab. Ask any mechanic who's worked on a 2050M, and they'll tell you about the cab. It doesn't tilt. This shocking design oversight turns what should be routine access to the hydraulic pumps, the drivetrain, and other core components into a major, frustrating ordeal. It requires hours of extra work just to get to the part that needs fixing. Costly repairs. If you're unlucky enough to have an out-of-warranty engine failure due to that grounding issue, you are facing a catastrophic expense. A full rebuild or replacement can easily exceed $25,000. On a used machine that might be worth $60,000, that's a devastating financial hit. The constant track spinning means you'll be replacing your undercarriage far sooner than you'd expect. A full undercarriage job on a dozer of this size is a major investment, typically costing between $15,000 and $20,000. The poor balance guarantees you'll be paying this bill more often. Operator insights. An operator on an equipment forum summed it up perfectly, saying, "It feels like it's always trying to dig itself a hole instead of pushing one." Many have noted that the machine only feels properly balanced when equipped with a heavy rear ripper, an optional extra that adds the necessary counterweight. The finicky hydrostatic drive system has also been a point of frustration for operators accustomed to the predictable, solid feel of a traditional torque converter. Number 3. Caterpillar D5G. Even a legendary brand like Caterpillar isn't immune from producing a lemon, and for many in the industry, the D5G is it. Produced from 2002 to 2007, these aging machines are now well known in repair shops for their frustrating, persistent, and often baffling problems, almost all of which stem from one core area, the electronics. Common issues. Chronic electrical nightmares. The D5G's electrical system is its Achilles heel. It runs on a sensitive CAN bus system where all the machine's computers talk to each other. This system requires a perfectly stable voltage to function. A weak battery, a failing alternator, or even a single corroded wire can cause a cascade of bizarre and irrelated issues. We're talking about the dash lighting up with random error codes, the controls becoming unresponsive, and the parking brake dangerously slamming on by itself while the machine is working on a slope. Drivetrain and control lockups. One of the most common and dangerous faults is the differential lock or the entire drivetrain locking up, causing the machine to lose all track movement without warning. Imagine trying to make a precise final grade and your machine just freezes. This is often an electronic issue, not a mechanical one, making it incredibly difficult to diagnose in the field. Brittle sensors and wiring. After 15 to 20 years of heat cycles in vibration, the sensors and wiring harnesses on these machines become incredibly brittle. Operators report the controls can become completely unresponsive. a problem often traced back to these hard-to-access failed components buried deep within the machine. Costly repairs. Diagnosing these electrical gremlins is a specialist's job. It almost always requires an expensive service call from a CAT technician armed with proprietary diagnostic software, as standard code readers are often useless. After a power loss or a simple battery change, the entire drive system often needs to be recalibrated by a certified technician. This is a recurring cost that many owners don't anticipate and can add hundreds of dollars to a simple battery swap. Hydraulic pump failures are also frequently reported, with a replacement pump and the labor to install it costing in the range of $2,500 to $4,000. Operator insights. A seasoned mechanic on a popular equipment forum warned, if you're looking at a D5G, check every wire. If the battery is weak, walk away. The risk of inheriting a machine with deep-seated electrical gremlins that can take weeks and thousands of dollars to trace makes this a very risky and potentially ruinous used purchase. Number 2. International Harvester TD15B. Now we're digging into the history books for a truly legendary failure. The International Harvester TD15B isn't a machine you'll find on modern job sites, but its story is a critical lesson. It has become infamous in the heavy equipment world, a dozer that has the reputation of literally bankrupting its owners. Common issues. The wrong engine for the job. The core problem was a catastrophic engineering mismatch. IH used their legendary DT466 engine. In trucks and tractors, where RPMs and loads vary constantly, it was a champion. But it was never designed for the grueling, constant, high-load, high-heat environment of a dozer. This led to frequent cracked heads, thrown rods, and complete, catastrophic engine failures. It wasn't a bad engine, it was just the wrong engine for the application. Weak final drives. To compound the engine problems, the final drives were notoriously weak. They were not built to handle the machine's torque and were prone to shattering under heavy load, especially when ripping in hard ground or push-loading scrappers. A final drive failure is one of the most expensive repairs on any dozer. Costly repairs. The cost of rebuilding or replacing the DT466 engine and the final drives was so common and so expensive that these repairs often exceeded the machine's total value, even when it was only a few years old. It was the classic definition of a money pit. Operator insights. This machine is a true cautionary tale in the construction world. As one old-timer on a forum bluntly put it, the TD15B was IH's way of telling you to go buy a Caterpillar. It's a machine that serves as a powerful reminder that impressive specs mean nothing without the engineering to back them up. It is a piece of history to be avoided at all costs. Number 1. NorTrac NB3500. And here it is, the number 1 worst dozer you could possibly buy. This machine isn't just bad, it's legendary for its complete and utter failure. We're talking about the NorTrac NB3500. In the 1990s, the Northern Tool Catalog offered what seemed like a dream come true. A brand new Chinese-made dozer for just $15,000 shipped right to your door. It was a deal that was truly and disastrously too good to be true. Common issues. Total undercarriage failure. The tracks were the stuff of legend, and not in a good way. They were made of such poor quality soft metal that they would stretch and constantly fall off, even during the lightest use. The sound of the tracks popping off the rollers became a regular, infuriating theme song for its owners. Catastrophic transmission seizures. The transmissions were notoriously bad, known for locking up with a sickening crunch, often leaving the machine stranded in the middle of a job. They simply could not handle the torque. Persistent electrical fires. The wiring was substandard and poorly protected, making it prone to shorts and creating a genuine fire hazard. Weak hydraulics and frame. The hydraulic system was underpowered and prone to leaks from day one, and the frame itself was not strong enough to handle the basic stresses of dozer work, with reports of frames cracking under normal operating conditions. Costly repairs. This machine was essentially unrepairable in any cost-effective way. The cost of fixing the constant stream of failures in its core systems would quickly eclipse the original purchase price. To make matters worse, sourcing replacement parts was nearly impossible, as there was no real dealer support network. It was a $15,000 disposable dozer. Operator insights. The only reliable part of the NorTrac NB3500 was its Perkins diesel engine. Owners' forums from the era are filled with horror stories of the machine literally falling apart around this single, decent component.
It is universally regarded as one of the worst pieces of equipment ever sold in America and stands as a powerful lesson. When it comes to heavy machinery, you absolutely get what you pay for. From modern machines with fatal design flaws to vintage lemons that were doomed from the start, these four dozers represent some of the worst investments you can make in the world of heavy equipment. The common thread here is that a cheap price up front or impressive specs on paper almost always hides expensive headache